All right, old school NBA fans, self-researched NBA facts. Got another video for you. As always, thanks to anybody who watches my videos, subscribes to my channel. I really appreciate it. In this video here, Shannon Sharpe, I caught a clip. He was talking to Stephen A. Smith, and they were talking about Luka Doncic and LeBron James. Don't even ask me why I clicked on it. But the same tired narratives from this guy. I mean, he is ridiculous. He holds the most insane, ridiculous standards for Michael Jordan, but nobody else. Certainly not LeBron James. And, I mean, it is pathetic what this guy says. I mean, it's just the dumbest stuff. Besides the whole, he didn't beat people till they got old narrative. You could say the exact same thing about LeBron James with Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce. You could say the exact same thing. He didn't beat them till they got old. Didn't beat Tim Duncan till he got old. You could say the exact same thing. It's just the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But he didn't beat Dirk Nowitzki and those guys when they got old, though. That was the second oldest team to ever win a championship. But besides that, that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is, I looked up every superstar there is, but I'm directly doing LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Typically, I don't like to do this, but I'm doing it on this one because this fool is going to get up here and talk about, Jordan never beat Larry Bird. Well, Michael Jordan and Larry Bird never played each other when they both had peak teams. So, at best, Michael Jordan may have played Larry Bird in 1991 because they were actually the 2 seed, but they got beat by the Pistons. So they could have played each other in the Eastern Conference Finals. Larry Bird was, he was injured. He's battling injuries the whole playoffs. He missed some games in that series against Detroit. So if the Bulls would have beat him, obviously all anybody was going to say was, Larry Bird was hurt. He's old. He's past his prime. So what good would it have done anyway? But Larry Bird against Jordan in the 90s, Jordan beat the crap out of Bird's team in the regular season. They beat the crap out of him. I did a video on this not a few months back. So what? It's stupid. Yeah, when Jordan's got a great team and Bird's team isn't great, Jordan's going to win. When Bird's got a great team and Jordan's on a 38 or actually a 30 and a 40 win team, yeah, he's going to get beat. I mean, this team won 67 and 59 games when Jordan played them. But Michael Jordan, more than any superstar, and I looked up all of them, nobody has a bigger win disparity in the teams that beat him. Nobody. And LeBron James actually has a decent one. He was on the higher side of this. But even he is nowhere near Michael Jordan. And here's what I'm talking about. So LeBron missed the playoffs in 2004 and 2005. Of course, they're going to bring up his age. They always bring up his age when it's convenient, and then bring up his age when they're trying to say how great he is at a certain age. You love how they do that, right? They'll use it, when it's convenient for him, but then also when it's convenient, say, he was young or he was old. You know what I'm saying? Like they do this crap all the time. It's ridiculous, and brainwashed sheep fall for it. But anyway. So LeBron James in 2006, his third season, I think he even averaged 30 points a game. So whatever. Okay, so they play the Pistons. That's the team that knocked them out in 2006. The Pistons won 64 games. That's a 14-win disparity. Okay, all right. So obviously Detroit was the better team. No doubt about it. Okay. In 2007, in the finals, LeBron's team is 50-win team. San Antonio is a 58-win team. So that's a disparity of 8 wins. Even though this is the finals we're talking about. And LeBron, so that's the thing people don't understand is LeBron is supposed to be the GOAT, not just a good player. He's supposed to be the best who's ever played, according to Shannon Sharpe and all these guys. He's supposed to be the best. So that's 2 50-win seasons already right there. And we'll get to Michael Jordan. You know how many times Michael Jordan did not win the championship when he had a 50-win team? 2 times. So already, as of 2007, LeBron's already matched that. So the next year in 2008, in the second round, the semifinals, LeBron's team is 45 and 37. Boston is 66 and 16. That's a 21-win disparity. They pushed Boston to 7 games. Now, on its face, you think, well, hey, they did good. They were a 45-win team. Yeah, it was, except for Boston got pushed to 7 the round before in the first round by Atlanta, who was a 37-win team. So suddenly pushing them to 7 just doesn't have the same cachet, if you know what I mean. Okay, so then in 2009, LeBron's team, now they're the 66-16 team. They play the 59-23 Orlando Magic. That's a +7 differential for LeBron James's team. Well, they got beat in 6 games. In 2010, same thing. They're a 61-win team, clearly the best record in the NBA, against a 50-win team. That's 11 + 11 for LeBron James. They got beat in 6 games. I know. Oh, the supporting cast. You know, LeBron didn't have 2 other All-NBA players, so that's why they lost. He had to have high-level All-NBA players, or else his team was no good. Okay. So in 2011 against Dallas, Miami's a 58-win team. Dallas is a 57-win team. Miami's got the better record, home court advantage, +1. They got beat in 6 games. I don't know what to tell you. In 2014, Miami's a 54-28 team. I think Dwayne Wade missed some games, that kept their win total down. San Antonio, 62-20. That's a -8. They got gentlemen swept in 5 games. 2015, Cleveland's a 53-29 team. I think that they load managed and whatnot, that maybe, kept their record lower than it should have been. But whatever. I'm going by on face value. The team they lost to, Golden State, was 67-15. That's a -14 right there. 2017 finals, Cleveland's a 51-31 team. Golden State, 67-15. That's a -16. Of course, they lost in 6, lost in 5. 2018, they got swept. 50-32 team, lost to a 58-24 team. That's only an 8-win differential. Not huge. I mean, yeah, it is a differential, though. Clearly, Golden State was the better team, no doubt about it. In 2021, the Lakers are 42-30. They lose to the 51-21 Phoenix Suns. That's a 9-win differential. They lost in 6. In 2023, the Lakers are 43-39. They lose to the Denver, who's 53-29. That's a 10-win differential. They got swept. And then in 2024, in the first round, last year, 47-35 against the 57-25 team. A 10-win differential. They got beat in 5 games. Okay, so LeBron lost 13 times, all right, in his 21-year career. 4 championships, 4 times he didn't make the playoffs at all, and 13 times he was eliminated. So, out of the 13 times, the win differential between the 2 teams, his team and his competition, was 99 wins. That comes to an average of 7.61 wins per series. Okay? So, on its face, you're looking at that and you're thinking, well, the teams were 7.61 wins better than his. So it makes sense that he lost. Okay, let's just keep that same energy right there. Now, the record of his losses was 19-52 for a .267 winning percentage against the teams that beat him. Hold on one second. All right. Anyway, LeBron James, that's the average per series, is a 7.61 win differential between LeBron James and his competition in his 13 times of being eliminated. Like I said, his record's 19-52 with a .267 winning percentage. Now let's take a look at Michael Jordan, okay? And like I said, 761, it's actually on the higher end, sure. Wait till you see Jordan. It's a joke. Okay. Michael Jordan in 1985, his team in the first round is 38-44, plays Milwaukee, who's 59-23. That's a 21-win disparity. They lost 3-1. Okay. 1986. Now, Michael Jordan missed a lot of games that year, a lot of them. There were 30-52 teams somehow get the 8th seed, somehow, against a 67-win Boston team. That's a 37-win differential right there. I mean, I think that might be the biggest win differential ever between two playoff teams. I think it is. In NBA history, there's been no bigger disparity than the 1986 first round between the Bulls and the Celtics. 37-win difference. You're not going to find on any round in any year a bigger disparity in wins than that right there. Okay, obviously the Bulls got swept, even though the Bulls were the only team in like 30 games to even challenge the Bulls a game or challenge the Celtics at home, because they were 50-1 at home, including the playoffs. Pretty insane. But in the next year in 87, they draw Boston again. The Bulls are 40-42. Boston is 59-23. That's a 19-game disparity. Bulls got swept 3-0. But never a 4-game series did Michael Jordan ever get swept. It just never happened. Because that would mean that he had a team good enough that he could do something with it, because that would have been past the first round. So obviously, if you catch Jordan past the first round, you're not going to sweep him. That's just not going to happen, because his team would have been good enough to at least win a game. And that's what happened in 1988. 1988, the semifinals. The Bulls, 50-32. Michael Jordan carrying that team on his back. Nobody averaged over 11 points a game that season other than Jordan. Detroit is 54-28. That's a 4-win differential. But Detroit is hot. And actually, they lost in 5. But Detroit got all the way to Game 7 of the finals and barely lost against the Lakers, who were going for the back-to-back. So no real shame in losing to that team. In fact, Boston, who had won the East 4 years in a row, who was going for 5, lost in 6 games to Detroit. So the Bulls got beat in 1 game less. I mean, okay, big deal. And the Bulls, like I said, they're a 50-32 team, but they got nobody averaging over 11 points a game. I mean, the team was a joke. 1989, the Bulls, 47-35. They lose to the 63-19 Detroit Pistons. That's a 16-win differential. But the Bulls at least make it a series. They lose in 6. Okay. The next year, 1990, same thing. They draw the Pistons. The Bulls are 55-27. Detroit is 59-23. That's a 4-win disparity. And the Bulls pushed them to 7. And if not for getting absolutely the worst supporting cast in Game 7 history, then, maybe the game could have at least been closer. But no, his team shot 11 for 57 in that game. And I challenge you to find a supporting cast that shot worse than that. That's under 20%. 1995, the last and only time Michael Jordan lost the series, from 1991 through 2003. Of course, he didn't make the playoffs, but 91 through 98, the only time he lost the playoff series was against Orlando. The Bulls are 47-35. Orlando was 57-25. That's a 10-win differential right there. The Bulls get beat in 6 games. So, looking at Michael Jordan, in his 13 trips to the playoffs, he was eliminated 7 times, just over half. The win differential in these 7 series, just 7, is 111 points. As you can see, that's more than LeBron James's 13. That's almost double what Michael Jordan had here. And he's still 12 win differential more than what LeBron James had. So please, Shannon Sharp, you don't know anything about anything. The Bulls were 9-25, which is a .264 winning percentage against those teams. Now, you can look at it and say, oh, well, LeBron had a slightly better winning percentage. And I mean barely better. But here's the caveat. The problem is Michael Jordan was playing teams that on average was almost 16 wins better than his, while LeBron's are only 7.5. And they're almost the same winning percentage against those teams? Give me a break. I don't want to hear it. Obviously, Michael Jordan got beat by way better teams than LeBron James did. BS. And anybody who knows about the 1980s basketball, if you don't know, let me educate you a little bit. In the 1980s, you had to play the teams in your division 6 times. In the other division in the East or West, whatever one you were in, the other division within your conference, you had to play them 5 times each. So if you were in the better division, you had to play Atlanta, Milwaukee, Detroit, Philly, Boston, Cleveland. Like almost every game, you're getting one of those teams. It's going to be very hard to compile a good record. And that's why not many teams did. If you go back and look from 1981 until about 1989, actually, those 9 years, you're not going to find a lot of teams in the high 40s to like the mid 50s, let's call it, win totals. You'll find a few, sure, but not many, because it was hard to compile wins unless you were one of the cream of the crop teams like the Philadelphia 76ers, the Boston Celtics, or the Lakers. And at times, Milwaukee had good teams. They won like 56, 59. I think they even won 60 one year. Sure, at times, Milwaukee even had a high win total. They were one of the better teams. But unless you're one of those teams, you just weren't going to win those kind of games. There were teams like the 1985 New Jersey Nets. They had a really good squad, a good team. They were 42-40. The Pistons had a very good team in 1985. They were 46-36. I mean, they had like Kelly Tripucka, and they had John Long, and they had Bill Laimbeer and Isaiah Thomas. They had a good solid team, Vinnie Johnson. But when you got to play these teams that many times, it's just hard to compile a good win total. It just is. You played the teams in the other conference only twice each. That's it. That's all it was. Now, I know what some of you guys are going to say already. I already know because I've heard all this stuff before. There's nothing you're going to throw at me that I haven't heard a million times. I learned no new information from LeBron James fans about Michael Jordan. They got about 1 of 5 narratives they'll throw at you, and it's always 1 of 5. Always. So you're going to say that, well, Michael Jordan wasn't here all year to affect the record. That's true. He wasn't. He only played, I think, 18 total games, and he only played parts of 15 or something at the end, whatever it was. Okay, agreed. In 1995, Michael Jordan came back, and I think he only played 17 games. They were 13-4. That's true, too. He did, and it probably did affect the record. If he was there all year, they would have had more win totals in both. But what if we just took those 2 years out completely? We don't have to guess. We don't have to whatever. We just take them out and leave the other 5 years that Jordan was there all year. That would mean that the other 5 comes to 64-point win differential between the 5 series. That averages 12.8. So, taking out 86 and taking out 95, taking those 2 out, still, Michael Jordan's win differential is 12.8, and LeBron James's is 7.61. That's still more than 5 wins per series on average that he lost to the teams that beat him. On average. That's more than 5. So Shannon Sharp, you stupid idiot, you and that fat Brian the Whale Windhorst, you guys don't know anything. You're so far up LeBron James's ass. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. You guys are the biggest brainwashed, I don't even know what you call it, just super fans. Ridiculous. Say the most ridiculous things as if you even know what you're talking about. And the worst part of it is Stephen A. Smith just sits there and laughs it off and scoffs it off. Or he'll bring up 6-0 or you idiot. Push back. Give the facts back in his face. And he never does it. It just, it irritates me so much. And that's why I think I'm never going to watch any more of those clips, because every time, somehow it always comes back to Michael Jordan. I wonder why. Always about Michael Jordan. But the fact is, Michael Jordan was on a 30-win team and a 40-win team when he played Larry Bird and the Boston Celtics. Okay? I don't think there's anybody who would have been on that team that Michael Jordan had that they would have done anything. And Jordan at least set the all-time single-game record, 63 points, and they took Boston to double overtime in Game 2. Nobody could win in Boston. The only team that did was Portland all year. They won earlier in the year. 40 games after Portland beat them, Boston never lost at home again. I mean, what can you say? That's a whole season. 40 games. There's 41 home games. I'm including the playoffs. 40 in a row, never lost. The closest team to beating them in those 40 games was Michael Jordan and the Bulls in Game 2 of the first round. Look it up. I mean, this guy is a fool. And Stephen A. Smith won't give any facts to throw back at these other clowns who are, the one guy went to LeBron James's high school, and the other guy is just a Lakers fan or whatever. I mean, none of this stuff came up until Nick Wright and Shannon Shaw, all these super fans about 10 or 12 years ago, all of a sudden, well, we got to push Michael Jordan down because he never lost to the home court advantage. He only lost to teams that were, much better than him. He was severely outmatched whenever he lost. If he had the same level of talent on his team or better, he won every series. LeBron James cannot say the same thing. I mean, you just look right here. 2009, +7. 2010, +11. 2011, +1. And that's with the super team with a 2-1 lead. Couldn't win. I don't want to hear it. And then you get gentlemen swept by the 2014 Spurs. I mean, yeah, they were a very good team, sure. But you got gentlemen swept. And the guy that won Finals MVP was the guy you were supposed to be shutting down. The standard these idiots set for Michael Jordan is ridiculous. He has to beat every superstar he plays, regardless of how good they are, regardless of how good his teammates are. He can't lose a game, basically. He cannot have any help. He's not allowed to have any help, because if he has anybody worth a damn, they're an all-time great. They're top 15 all time. I mean, these people are ridiculous. They exaggerate everything, all in an effort to prop up a guy who has managed to somehow, over a steroid-filled career of over 20 years, to put his teams together, weaken other conferences, and somehow scrape together 4 championships, one with a miracle 3, one with a suspension and a hobbled superstar of Golden State, Curry, one in a damn bubble. He needed a coronavirus for that championship. I mean, this is the player you think is the best of all time? Please. And what I'm saying is, if he's the greatest, then you can't let him off the hook about anything. You don't let Michael Jordan off the hook about anything. And this guy's been upset. He's blown leads. Somebody brought up to me the other day, 10 times LeBron James has lost 3 games in a row in the playoffs. 10 times. 10. That's more than anybody. He was tied with Shaquille O'Neal with 9 until 2024, this last year, when they were down 3-0. He now owns that record. 10 times he lost 3 games in a row, more than anybody else. So anyway, that's about all I got for this video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, please hit the like button. Again, these fools, man, they just really fire me up about this stuff. They are idiots. And the fact that the people on ESPN, like Stephen A. Smith or whoever it is, like I think Fox, it's like Bruce Sard or whoever, you guys do not rep Michael Jordan right at all. And you don't even need to defend him. Just tell the facts. Just whenever they say this dumb crap, just throw the facts right back at them. You don't need to exaggerate or lie. That's what the LeBron people do. They lie, they exaggerate, they try to do anything and manipulate anything they can to push Jordan down to make LeBron look better. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for watching. Until next time.